It's an epic journey, one which brought Leonardo da Vinci over the Alps more than 500 years ago. Today, this mule driver guides our way.
If you give her an order, she won't obey straight away. She'll have a think.
In 1516, da Vinci left Italy with the Mona Lisa and other masterpieces under his arm. He was bound for the Château d'Amboise, where the King of France was waiting for him.
Francois I said to him, "You'll be the jewel of the crown." Leonardo, this great artistic genius of the history of painting, a man who everyone knows all over the world, was an illegitimate son. This illegitimacy meant that he constantly sought a patron, a master who could give him legitimacy.
After bidding farewell to Rome, he crossed the Aosta Valley with its many fortresses and entered France via the Col du Burnham mountain pass.
Italy is behind us. It would take at least 8 hours to walk there.
Da Vinci used these 1,000-year-old paths between Italy and France in the bleak midwinter. To reach the king in his castle, he braved not only the cold, but also the dangers of the mountain.
The clouds descend, there are mists and storms. You can't see the way. The wind covers your tracks, you don't know where you are. I often have to go looking for people.
At the next bend in the path, Notre-Dame de la Gorge appears. The first foundations of this Baroque chapel were laid nearly 1,000 years ago. Da Vinci may even have sought refuge here. It's a brief moment of comfort before continuing our trek through the Montjoie Valley, which acts as a balcony overlooking Mont Blanc.
A mule is the poor man's horse. It's very rustic and resistant. It eats almost nothing. It was the Citroën 2CV of its time.
This trek is exhausting. It took Da Vinci 2, maybe 3 months to complete these 2,000 kilometers on a mule or on foot. But he enjoyed paying close attention to the epic landscapes.
You can just imagine this 64-year-old man who was in very good physical shape. He had extraordinary strength.
The journey continues along the shores of Lake Annecy. These 21st century paragliders and hang gliders appear to pay tribute to the man who invented so many flying machines many moons ago. With aching feet, Da Vinci finally arrived on the flatter paths of the Loire Valley. A 20-year-old King Francois I welcomed the art visionary at the Château d'Amboise. He put his protégé up at the Clos Lucé. Leonardo was 64 years old, and this was the end of his last ever trip.
When he arrived at Clos Lucé, it was a peaceful house with a garden. The Château d'Amboise is only 500 meters from here. Leonardo was able to continue working and studying and sorting out all his handwritten notes that he'd written throughout his life.
The Saint-Brie family has owned this property since the 19th century. Copies of the 3 masterpieces which Da Vinci brought with him over the Alps are now on display in what was his studio.
All his materials are here. It looks like he's just going to step in at any moment.
It's a wish that's almost granted in the next room.
Together we cross the Alps on the back of a mule.
It's Leonardo, but in hologram form.
Details make perfection, but perfection is not a detail.
A strong friendship was formed between the old Italian genius and the young French king. Where are we going?
Underground.
It could just be a myth, but the king apparently came incognito to join Da Vinci at the Clos Lucé.
This underground passage leads to the Château d'Amboise. Legend has it that Francois I used this route to visit his friend Leonardo to work together on their project.
Nature was a big source of inspiration for Da Vinci. He tried to control the elements with his inventions. This one, for example, fascinates Loire and his friends.
It's a boat, and when you turn the wheel like this, it moves forward.
He did so much. You're left wondering whether it was all real and how he was so skilled.
On the 2nd of May 1519, Da Vinci died in Amboise. The Renaissance genius once said, "A well-spent life brings a blessed death."